Hello, you guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good
How are you?
afternoon.
I haven't seen you in a while. How are you?
So,
Good
good
to see
morning, good
everyone.
afternoon, good evening, and in case I don't see you, good night.
You're covering all the bases, huh? All right, I'm
Well,
gonna just.
hello from England.
Hey, Chris, how you doing there, buddy?
Hey, it's Dale.
Oh, sorry, Dale.
It's
I'm
Dale.
so used to.
Yeah, Chris's mate.
See, I knew there was an association, right?
Yeah, it's Chris's mate from England.
Good to see you.
Good to
Okay,
see
I'm
you
just
as well.
gonna. Yeah, somebody has some background noise. I'm just gonna hit it on mute, so feel free to unmute yourself if you're not one of those people. Ah, that sounds so much quieter. All right. So, yeah, but you can feel free to unmute yourself and kick us off today with any questions or thoughts or feeling on the Yankee game last night, whatever you guys prefer. Right?
Well, I come here to learn from others. I do have a question on getting help, but I want to see from other people first.
Oh, so you're not asking a question yet, is what you're saying. You're going to wait.
Correct.
Okay.
Some of you
Thank you
may
for
ask my question. It's more AI stuff. So,
Okay. You got it. All right. Lori, did you have a question that I saw? I
Yes,
saw your
yes,
hand pop
I
up for
do.
a second.
I do have a question. And first of all, I want to thank you and the team. It has been working like a champ. I am so proud. The only thing of it is I just have a few little things like how do I make someone a co-host? And also, I had a little difficulty with a colleague in India today, and he said that he's having issues with the translation, and he has the same problems that I had phasing in and out. And I told him that we would work through it because mine are resolved. But can you just run through how I do make someone a co-host, please? I'm sorry.
No, I'm happy to do that. And by the way, let me just share everyone. Lori, who had a brand new computer, quality, good Wi-Fi,
Mhm.
like if she was the check the box girl, and for some reason she'd be on a meeting like this, and every 5 minutes she would just disconnect, and right, like the strangest possibility. I was just going to ask you, how did we resolve it? Do you know?
Something on your end, I just want to commend you and your team. I'm so happy that everything's working out 100%. We're just rolling through a few little things like the translation. I was on a call with India today, and he's
Sure.
having those same issues, and also he's got some concerns about the translation.
Okay, so we'll go through that. Okay, so I'll start off today with creating what we call the smart links or the co-host links. Then I will go through the translation one more time, the issues. Um, and then Jeff, we'll get to you after I go through that. How are you, my friend? Okay, and then Les, I know you're going to have a few questions today as well. So again, you guys feel free, can interrupt me at any time, especially if I'm showing something that's related to you have an additional question. Otherwise, you can just kind of wait till I finish that subject, right? There's no particular order in that sense. Okay. If that makes sense to everyone. Or
Thank
so
you.
again, you don't have to wait for me to call on you. We're a little more informal than that, right? All right. Let me just quickly start here. Okay. Okay. So what kind of makes us a little unusual compared to anyone else who's trying to do some of the things that we're doing? This is one thing that no one's actually even trying to do. And if you're working with a team, it could be maybe the most important thing that you do. And that's the idea that if you work with an affiliate company like Amazon or Shopify or a network marketing company like Nu Skin or Herbalife, um, most of those companies, right, have you work with sales teams that bring customers as opposed to you just making all the direct sales yourself. And the hardest thing is if you do a Zoom or a Google Meet and they invite people to your meeting, you have to, at the end of the meeting, say, get together with the person who invited you, because if they check out on your website, you get credit for the sale and they did all the inviting. That doesn't really help build a direct selling company. Um, or you have to send them to breakout rooms And the problem with that is the new people, right, who really wanted you to do the talking in the first place, can't answer the first question that they have anyway. They're kind of back to the square one where they're going to basically say, let me get back to Lori in this case, right? So we also knew that every single company out there is very protective, just the way that you are, of your privacy and your database. And so if you require us as a company to integrate with you to provide that feature, they find a lot of reasons not to do that. And so we tackled all of those objections with all those benefits in this simple way. So in order to do that, you have to schedule a meeting. It can't be an instant meeting. You've got to plan it because you want to make sure that everyone's getting credit for the sale. So a little more planning goes in that, right? So let's call this a SmartLink meeting, okay? And this is the good news about this is any meeting that you're going to schedule, you would set up the same way, okay? So you put in the title, which is the only thing actually required. You can skip everything else if you want, other than the day and the time. You write the description. This is going out in the email or text that you send, right? You pick your day, right? Pick your time, whatever that may be. Choose your duration, which is a suggestion. It's not a restriction, because your guests would like to know how long you plan to, stop them from doing anything else in your life but listen to you, right? This is, if it's going to be a recurring meeting, just like Zoom, you don't want to have to set it up every single week. In fact, you don't even want to have to set up your co-host links or smart links every single week, right? I always default everything to my personal link, as opposed to it being a random number every single time. Waiting room is for an extra layer of security, which means people will knock. If you have a lot of people, that could not be a really great function because people are waiting to get in and you have to let them all in one at a time. Otherwise, the invite link that you create here will only work in that meeting anyway. So it's really kind of an unnecessary step unless you're really concerned. And you can also choose to broadcast it to Facebook Live or YouTube. Okay? So now, Lori, like we were saying, if you're just doing a meeting the way we started today, strictly very Zoom-esque, we're all on webinar. I could bring up my interactive website at any time. I could turn it into a webinar at any time. I'm not restricted. This is just how I'm going to start the meeting. But let's say I want to start the meeting with my website up immediately, because maybe it's maybe I'm selling, something from Shopify or Amazon, or I want to set up a special meeting with all my smart links. I hit interactive. Otherwise, this would be webinar mode. Okay. So now I'm in interactive mode. So if I'm the only host and I want my website to appear, again, I'm not stuck with it, just means the meeting will start that way. I just click me. If I want to set up the smart links, Lori, that you were asking about, I click my co-host. Okay. Then if I've never set up this before, I would literally type in the website that I'm going to be using. And I don't type in the corporate website because I want to invite guests myself for my own guests, even though I'm going to set up links for other people as well. And even though I'm using my website, like if you notice, this is mypitch.com/Steve, right? Doesn't affect anyone else that we're setting up a meeting for. It just means that's the main domain that we're going to be using. If you set it up previously, it's right here, and all you do is click on it, and there it is. You can preview it to make sure it's the right website before you do it. If you mark it as a favorite, it'll be down here below. So any questions on that? Feel free to jump in. Otherwise, I'll go to the next step. So anytime you set up somebody to be one of your SmartLink co-hosts in the past, again, we don't want you to have to do it again. But you have control. So if you set this up as a recurring meeting, you don't have to do any of this. It's going to be every Tuesday, 8 o'clock, whether you touch this or not, automatic. But let's say, for instance, you didn't add Sherry. So this time you're going to let Sherry do it. You're going to get Larry do it, and Helen, all this. Literally all you do is you check their names. And then as soon as I'm done, they're going to get an email notifying that you're doing a meeting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, and they're going to get their co-host link that they're going to use to invite their guests, and they'll get credit for the sale. Now, you may say to yourself, didn't we skip a step? How did we attach them to their co-host link? Okay. So let's just say I add them for the first time. The only piece of information you need to know to create that magic happening is their first name, last name, and email. You don't need to know their replicated ID number, because the truth is, if you had to set up 10 or 20 people and make all these phone calls or texts, go, can you send me your replicated ID number? I want to create a co-host link for you. The answer is that would last about one time. Right? But if we do the work for you, right? All you have to do is type in their first name, last name, and email here, right? Whatever that may be, right? We'll automatically give it a username, just for our records, right? And you type in their first name and last name. Now you could do this with a CSV file if it's a lot of people, so or you can do this one at a time, right? Right. Okay. And because you may work more than one opportunity, knowing that you guys, you just may want to categorize them for this meeting. This is a pitch sale, and you hit save. That's all you have to do to set them up. Now, how do we know what their replicated ID number is? So to make sure that it gets credit for the sale, we don't. So you know what we're going to do? As soon as you hit OK and you check all these names and you go to continue, as soon as we hit create link, they're going to get an email. And it's going to say, Lori's doing a meeting Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Here's your invite link. The actual invite link you could start using right away. But to make sure you get credit for the sale, in this form, there's only one piece of line of information we need from you, and that's your replicated ID number. And that digitally will automatically attach to that link. So every single person who comes to your meeting on that invite link that you specifically created for them will only go to their checkout card or in their website. So you have 600 seats, right, in any meeting potentially. You can send out 599 invite links under the pessimistic attitude that maybe one person will show up, right? Because I got one seat left, right? Or you can send out 3, 4, 5, whatever that may be. And the way it works in the real world is if you sent out 10 invite links and they're all with Herbalife and you're on the home page of Herbalife, right? You don't realize you're actually on the homepage of 10 Herbalife websites. And when you turn the page, you're turning 10 pages at the same time. Looks the same to the guests because they don't know in the upper left-hand corner, one says Lori and one says Sam, right? They came in on it, however Herbalife does it. But the truth is they're only looking at Lori's site. They're only looking at Larry's site. They're only looking at Sam's site because when you turn the page, you're turning them all at the same time. And then when it's time for them to check out, you make it interactive. They're still stuck in the bubble of that website they came in on. They can't get out. They can't go anyplace else. They can't even go to Google or ChatGPT. They can only go into that site. So that's how we're seamlessly able at scale to work with any single company in any single country in any single form of marketing, as long as they have an affiliate or replicated site that we don't create for them. We don't create the merchant account. We don't exchange data. We don't need permission from the company. We're the only company in the world that not only does this, but that even wants to do it, even though it seems so incredibly obvious, right, of the power in doing it. No one else has been able to figure it out yet. So any questions on that, Lori? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Just one little question. Let's just say that David, Les, you, and I are in a meeting, and I said, Steve, I got to make you the co-host. How would I do it if you were just viewing like we are now? How would I just view a co-host?
So right now, and we're going to change it actually, but it's actually pretty complicated for us to change it. There's a couple of things we're going to change now that we've got our heavy lifting out of the way, right? If you're the host, you created the meeting, you're the only one that could make in control of the meeting that could make sites interactive or not interactive. We don't have the ability for you to assign that to somebody else to do that. We are going to add that feature.
Okay, that's why I
to do that. But like I say, because we invented this process and flow, right? And the team, took a bow for having been able to do this, right? They're saying you don't have when you're asked us to be able to just create other co-hosts, you don't know what you're asking us, right? So we've been working on that. So there's two things we're going to do. We're going to have that feature where you'll be able to assign somebody else. And where it really came up even more important than for the obvious reason that you're talking about, but in international countries where Wi-Fi is really unstable, So somebody's, hosting in Mexico, right? And they're the host. They plan this big meeting, and their Wi-Fi is out, and they can't assign it to somebody else, right? It really becomes a huge issue. So it went from an oh, by the way, it's nice to have. We didn't think of it, to it's really essential as we go around the world where Wi-Fi is certainly less reliable. The second feature that we're currently working on to add from an experience perspective, um, is everyone is really, was when we started to build this, obsessed on privacy and data, right? When we say to them, you could put, your credit card in and absolutely no one can see it, no matter what, the truth is they didn't believe us. It's like, how is that possible? You're not recording it. There's not somewhere on some click. I know that's not true, right? You know, and so, we finally got over that hump, right? Where people tried every which way from Sunday to try to prove to us that somehow we're capturing this information. We got past that with the highest level of CTOs from the Fortune 500 companies, right? We finally convinced them of that, right? Which made it easier for everyone else. Then the first thing people go is, no, but I want to be able to share a screen with somebody. I want to be able to actually fill out the form for them, right? And so, it's like you can't please everyone, but so we are going to, we created this flow that we're going to introduce fairly soon. And this really came up more with elderly people. Again, our whole businesses are trying to solve people's problems, right? Not serve us, right? So a lot of old people, they can't even see the screen. People they can't fill out the form. And so they want the host to actually see that information and do that for them. And so we figured out, I think, a way to do it to still keep people comfortable, that we're not going to make it 1 to 600, all being able to collaborate on the screen, even though technically we can. But you'll be basically, think of it going into a breakout room privately and one-on-one, be able to actually take over someone's screen and give them that level of comfort to do that. In the beginning, we didn't do it because we thought, what did the other 490 people do? You're in, as the host, you're in the breakout room with one person. But at the end of the day, I think we came up with thinking of it more as a breakout room situation, then everyone's just twiddling their thumbs waiting for you to help somebody. I think was a breakthrough for me to create a better user experience in that perspective. Okay. So Lori, I want to make sure, I haven't seen you in a while. I just want to make sure I'm answering all your questions, or if anyone else has any other question related to those two things, feel free to jump in before we move subjects on that.
Explains everything. Thank you so much. I got caught up and I'm sorry that I've missed you guys.
No,
No.
Lori, I was with you on the same thing when I first came here, because I do a lot of co-hosts with Zoom. I run a lot of different meetings and share the meetings with people. So I was with you on that. The nice thing is they're going to be changing the name. It's not going to be co-host. Co-host is actually going to be for co-hosts, and then the smart links is going to be something else. Steve did tell me that they were going to change it so that people that understand co-host knows that it is different. But I have a question for you, Steve.
And Dave, before you ask me the question, just to explain that to make sure other people know, is, there's certain times in life where terminology is now an accepted fact, right? Like, remember when Zoom became like a noun and a verb? It meant webinar. It's no longer Zoom. It actually meant webinar. And they actually did that similar thing with co-host, right? If I use the term co-host, that person immediately thinks they're going to be a speaker with you on it. They think they're going to have access to it, right? Where the truth is, we used it for the term to basically say, we're going to make sure you get paid when you invite guests. So that's what we're going to change that name. Instead of calling it a co-host, we'll call it a smart link, right? Because it's smart enough to track your guests. And then we'll have another category where you can, like you say, Lori, make someone a co-host where they'll have that ability. So we're still going to have the term co-host, but we're going to make it truer to what it really means in people's minds already, versus us trying to, no, we don't mean that. Our co-host is different than Zoom. Oh, okay, we don't want to go there anymore. Mm-hmm. So we're going to try to make it cohesive. I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm on the same page as you, Lori. Now, the question I have, Tuesday night, you have a 9 p.m. Basically introduction to pitch. Mm-hmm. Can you make me a co-host? Get me where I have a link where I can bring people in.
Yeah, there's actually, it's in the Success Academy. I'll make sure I send it to you. There's a link where you actually just do a simple request to go do that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I can't get into that part. I have a guy, I don't know if he's here. He's really helped me out. and he sent like I get into these meetings from the calendar he sent. I can't actually close that page because then I don't have the calendar, because when I click the calendar in my account, it just shows April, even though we're way past April.
Okay.
So I
Well,
have
I'm
to
saying
click his
whatever
link.
the reason is, I'm saying, but I'll make sure Pamela sends you that form,
Okay,
so
perfect.
you get the co-host link. We'll handle
Thank you.
that one. Pretty good. And by the way, Dave, because of you, I was able to fix that issue, and I appreciate you bringing that attention. So now when you're doing the recurring meetings, the dates is matching
Yeah,
up, right? We're working that again. That was a great asset today.
yeah. So just so everybody knows, I had two major issues with the program. One of them was I fixed a roundabout fix, is make it a wrong date and then it shows up the right date. They fixed it. It's completely working good now. So
No, we take the wins. I appreciate that. And it's funny, Santa Claus isn't on today, and he gave our customer service people a great shout out today, that they were like immediately responsive and helpful, and so I was very proud of that experience. Okay, so Jeff, I know you had a question and Les had a question, right?
Yes, sir. If I
Okay.
could ask really quickly before I leave, a couple of challenges.
Wait, you
Steve,
can't leave. You're not allowed to leave. I'm sorry. What do you mean?
I know I owe you and Phil, so I want to make sure I make good on it. First question, Steve, is I've had a couple of challenges with audio from guests. I'm not sure why, because I'll get on and I'll sign on to hear my mic and I'll make sure my speaker is working. And then when my guests sign on, they have not been able to get their audio working. And
Is
I've
it
had it
is it
three-
bad quality audio, or is it that they can't do it at all?
I can't hear them at all. They're speaking.
Okay.
I'm going, can you hear me? They can hear me, but I'm not able to get audio from them.
Okay.
And I'm asking
So-
them to maybe go to their settings and change the mic.
Well-
I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, the truth is like under pressure when a moment's on and you're dealing with go to settings, right? It's like the last thing you're trying to create this great vibe, and you're telling people go to settings and look for your audio fix, and that's awful. What we have found, right? 75% of the audio deals, no matter how many people swear up and down from Sunday that they did it, they didn't do it, right? And this is what they don't do. This is just the reality. And then there's sometimes they're right, and I'll tell you when. That's what I meant about audio quality. Let me share the screen real quick before you go. So this is our number one issue. And the truth is Google Meets has the same issue because it's anything with a browser based, and that's why we're going to eventually have an app for people who are, let's just call it audio challenged as their issue, but when you start a meeting, this is the moment of pain, right? Is they get here and they see blue and blue and they go, oh, great, it's working, right? And I've done it sometimes. I go quick and I don't realize I'm not on the right device, right? And if you're not on the right device, it just doesn't work no matter what you do, right? So that's the number one reason when it's no audio. Now, sometimes, yes, your browser blocks it. If you're using a weird browser, because of this, because when you have a lot of browsers open, the mic doesn't know where to go. The truth is, because it has options. It's not like a downloaded piece of software where it has a different relationship with your computer. So that is unfortunately a devil in the details. We'll never have an automatic fix, other than the automatic fix will be to download it. In that sense, once someone is in the meeting, if you get lucky and you say to people, can you see on the bottom of your screen where it says settings?
Mhm.
You go to settings, you click on audio here, and notice the nice part about this is you'll see all your devices,
Mhm.
and that's a good shot at fix. And that, I would say, works about 50% of the time, because sometimes
Okay.
it still won't work. And so when that doesn't work, I usually will have someone say, log in, log back out. And because I don't know why, it's like the computer knows that you made a great effort. Somehow after you do this and you log back in and log back out, it goes like it knows something is wrong. and it's for some reason, I don't know why that works. Like, it's not scientific. That's more anecdotal, but it is true, right? It's kind of like anything in life. Turn it on, turn it off, and the electricity works. But our long-term solution, right, will be unlike Zoom that forces you and pushes you and tries to convince you every 10 seconds, to download their software so they can have access to your computer in ways that many people are uncomfortable with and prefer not to or have to go through that download. We will do it as an audio solution fix
Okay.
because it will work. There's a difference. People love the idea. Oh, I don't have to download any software. I love you. I don't have to download any software, but my audio sucked. I don't love you so much anymore. So this is the learning curve, right? That we have that is just the reality that we have to deal with in that sense. Okay.
So
The other thing too, if somebody has, and this happened the other day on our Tuesday night phone call, is this guy named Dave Martin, who's had terrible problems. He's got really bad equipment, and he started to talk and his audio was breaking up. And somebody said, it wasn't me, somebody smarter than me said, hey, shut off your video. He shut off the video and his audio was perfect because of his bad computer, right? He didn't have enough CPUs, right? That was generating the scenario. So that's pretty much like every audio possibility I could
Okay.
give you. The only other scenario is the next time you're doing a meeting with a lot of people, let me know, send me an invite, and I'll jump on with a tech support person, sit there in the canary seats, and
Yeah.
see if we could pick up anything else from it.
Yeah, I put the pressure on Phil and said, Phil, I may have to have you join me, my friend. So,
No, because if Phil joins, he's going to talk. You'll never get the meeting back. So I don't know if you want to take that risk. Okay.
so what I'm hearing is user error most of the time. That's what I figured too, Steve. But I thought maybe it was something I set up wrong or something like that. But user error, and try to have them walk through it sensibly without pressure. So I appreciate the phone
Absolutely.
call. I appreciate it. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Because if you notice, the same people who come on here all the time never have audio issues, right?
That's right.
So
Never.
it's not like there's an inconsistency in our
Right.
software.
Never,
Like,
never audio problem.
it's like, oh, we're having a bad audio day, right? You know what I mean? It's usually something on the other side that unfortunately is human error, which again, at the end of the day, no customer wants to hear whose fault it is. They just want it to work. I
That's
get
right.
that. And so that's why ultimately, we'll have that eject button, which is the download button, and then, we'll have an answer for everyone under every circumstance. The other thing that audio I meant to say is when you're on a bad, let's say an older mobile phone, and you're on speakerphone on a mobile phone,
Yeah.
that is like the formula for failure.
That's horrible. That's right.
Just so you
Yeah.
know, okay, that's the one. Like I just want to buy them a new phone, just so I don't have to hear that complaint, But
Right.
definitely old phone model, speaker phone instead of a computer. No, not a good, healthy situation. Okay.
Well, thank you, Steve, brother. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, Les, you're up next, my friend.
Sure. Well, first off, I think you answered one. You don't have an app at this point. You just have to put in the URL to your phone and the website.
Yes, you don't need to download an app as the host or as a guest, which again, similar to Google Meets, not because obviously Google being richer than Apple, right, certainly could have built an app if they chose that, but based on everything they do is research, right, to death. People prefer not to down apps. It's especially for customers, for that
Okay.
perspective. Because let's say you're invited to a meeting for the first time, you really weren't that exciting to come to the meeting in the first place, but your friend convinced you. And then even before the meeting starts, he makes you take an extra step to go download software. It's just people going, no, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen today. Call me when it's Zoom. Call me when it's the one I have. But I'm saying
Okay.
when you're actually using our software all the time and you want to have an optimum experience, or a customer really cares about the features that you're talking about, then they will make that effort. But when you're speaking to somebody very casual, give them the slightest excuse in the world not to show up to your meeting or to stay on your meeting.
Okay.
And that's why we made that same decision that Google did.
Yeah, you're right. The standard to download, if you don't have to download to go, that's good. Okay. Next question. How do you do this home shopping thing?
How do you do the home shopping thing?
Yeah, in other words, people can have their own internet shopping.
Yeah,
People
I mean,
buy from-
it's the core of what we do, right? And so let me say to you, if you were starting with us tomorrow. Let me just see if I have. Let me just.
I mean,
pull up
if
the right-
somebody, for
Yeah,
instance, wants to sell 10 items on here as
yeah,
a home shopping network, how's that work?
yeah. So the beauty of our system is that every single person in the world, without any training, any experience, I mean, on the first 5 minutes they use our platform, they can create what we call an interactive shopping experience or a home shopping experience, right? However you may want to call it.
Okay.
So let's say it's day one, right? And I am logging into my system for the first time. And haven't watched
Yeah.
tutorials yet, right? I haven't been on the 4 o'clock training, and I start an instant meeting. Just going to start a meeting, right? Assuming that pretty soon there's only going to be one version, so they don't have to choose between 1.0 and 2.0. We'll save that explanation. They start a meeting, and thank you, because of Jeffrey, their microphone is going to work. It's going to be the right one, right? Okay. So now they're in a meeting. Okay. So now they're in a meeting just like they are with Zoom or Google Meet or any other meeting, right? They've ever been in before, right? And now they're going, okay, how do I turn this into a shopping experience? So if you notice our buttons on the bottom, very Zoom-esque: microphone, camera,
Correct.
record,
Yeah.
settings, translate, which we'll talk about, which I also brought up, screen share. We share a screen the way you do on Zoom, not going to be interactive, going to be very traditional, right? And here's how you turn it into an interactive experience where it says share here. This means screen share, right? This means share a website. So I hit the share a website button on the bottom. If I've ever shared that website before and I've made it a favorite, it's going to be right here, so I don't have to type it in again, right? If somebody says, type a website for the first time, I literally can type in any website in the world, right?
Right.
But first, if I type on one I've done before, there's Juice Plus. I just clicked on it and it just appears right here, okay? So now I'm going to bring that website up. Okay, now I clicked on the middle button that says standard. Standard means, and it says it here, so you know it's standard, right? And I'm in control of the meeting, just the way I am on Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm bringing up my Juice Plus Luminate product, right?
Okay. You
And
misunderstood my question.
Okay,
He's gonna
Let's say
answer it.
somebody wanted to sell their own jellies, their own product without being an affiliate website. And that be done
it's
by
whatever,
this-
but they still have to have a website.
Okay, so they have first build their own.
This has nothing to do with Juice Plus. What I'm showing, this could be any website in the world. This could be
Okay.
Molly's Boutique selling kitty litter, right? I'm saying, but they go through the same process, regardless of whether it's their website or they're using a third-party website. There's no difference
Gotcha.
in 2 minutes, right, of having that site. So but what I did want to do, and just so you know, just to finish this thought, right? So
Sure.
I'm bringing up Juice Plus Laminate. I want my customers to buy it or to put it in the shopping cart, right? Because I'm going to bring up 10 I'm going to tell them I'm bringing up 10 products I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring them up one
Right.
at a time. So right now, I just brought up Juice Plus Laminate. For anyone who wants to put it in the cart, I don't want you to buy it yet. I just want you to put it in the cart because I want to show you 10 other products. Put it in the cart,
Gotcha.
okay? And then I'm going to go to the next product.
Okay.
That's simple, right? Instant shopping.
Yes.
Now you may go, we've been offered on many occasions we've been inundated with companies that want us to provide or offer their service, let's say, to provide a shopping cart, but the truth is I've gotten offers from shopping cart companies. I've had virtually zero requests from people because everyone seems to already have a website or they can literally
Got
go to any place for free. And what I don't want to do is I in my mind, at least at this point, I don't want to be go high level. I don't want to be this site that offers everything to everyone and doesn't offer the best in class version.
Very few use it.
Right?
Okay.
Because people will just say, what's your focus? What do you really like? That's what I meant is
Yeah.
if you look at Zoom, and I use them as an example of a company that worth $25 billion. They've been in business 15 years, right? And in 15 years, the truth is they only offered one new product in 15 years that's different from their core product. And that was offering call center phone service, right? which you can
Right.
argue is related. But they didn't go in 20 different directions, right? But what did they do? They did what the Apple model did, right? They offered a marketplace, right, where you can go to Zoom's marketplace and probably find some shopping cart builder. Now, their marketplace, unlike Apple's or Google's, is amazingly unsuccessful because people don't go to Zoom looking to get other features and services from their marketplace, right? In their minds, I'm just buying Zoom, right? So
Yep.
in our minds, to have that same singular focus, right, it is I say to people, you've spent a lot of time choosing your shopping cart, right? Choosing your merchant account, choosing, your commission engine, right? And I don't want you to come here and think we're trying to sneakily get those functions from you, right? So if you use Twilio, you use Salesforce, you use HubSpot, it's like, keep it because it's one less thing for me to train on at 4:00 every day, right? In that perspective, right? And so at what point should we introduce it, right? So to me, like I've shared with people, we're going to be introducing our own CRM.
Right.
Why is that important, right? It wasn't so important in the beginning, but when the avatars became important, right? And we're saying that this is a great way for you to promote your new skin business, your Herbalife business, your pitch business, is now there's a big demand for, well, I need to know if somebody opened up those emails. I need if somebody watched the videos. So it was core to our functionality, right, of what we're trying to do, which is create more opportunities to put people in front of you. So I don't see us building websites as something that makes sense compared to you're creating and sending out avatars on our platform. And I'd be much more excited if I knew that somebody watched it than I hope someone watched it. So that's where I'm just sharing, our philosophy
Sure.
as much as the training and teaching.
Okay.
Okay. You got another question, or otherwise I'll go to Terry.
Yeah. One more question.
Sure.
I got a screencast. When I use this system, will not allow those videos to play. Is there certain ones that will and won't? I'm thinking about changing to ScreenPal and see if that'll let it do it.
I mean, actually, I'd have to answer that in an educational way. I would have to try it myself to see what the experience is. So let me say this, right? When you share a screen, as opposed to share a website, your videos will play on your website pretty much without fail.
Right.
And I'll show you what I mean by that. Or if you already know what I mean, when you do share a website, right? Because that's a very complicated software build, right? Certain videos will play, certain won't. And like the weird part is sometimes it'll play in interactive mode. In fact, 75% to 80% of the time it'll play if you make it interactive and the person can click on it. But I know that's not ideal, but it won't play in standard mode. So what I always say to people, and Ray was the first one I used to say, Ray, stop showing videos and share a website. Just share a screen like Zoom. It'll play perfectly, right? So it's a little bit of using it until we can come up with a technology different. Otherwise, when it comes to videos, do screen share because it also has an audio tab, right? So the audio always will play when you do screen share because it's built into the browser and it'll play in any format. So again, that's where teaching and training, I've got to do a better job.
Just share it instead of download it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
One more last before I go to Terry.
No,
Okay.
that does
And
it.
okay, or feel free to come back. Okay, Terry, you're up.
Hi. Is it me or does everybody see my backdrop backwards?
I barely see you. Never mind your backdrop.
No, where it says pick.
Yeah. So
It
if
says
you go
pick time
to
lapse?
if you go to settings, there's a mirror button there that'll probably fix that. If you
Mirror
go to
button?
if you go to settings, go
Video
to I
effects?
think it's video. I think it's in video effects or video. I think it's in video effects or just
I
video,
don't
not video
see-
effects, not video effects. Video. And there's a mirror. There's a mirror in my video button. Yes. Go to under room settings. Hit video.
Oh, it took off my back. Okay, I did that. Now
And
let me go back.
there's a button there that says mirror my video. That might fix it for you.
See. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now I know. Thank you.
You're getting highly technical on that one. I wasn't ready for that one. Okay. Thought
I got a
survived that
question
one.
for you.
Okay. Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into the AI.
Sure.
So when I first started with the AI, I thought it was cool. I was making videos, awesome, testing it out. I thought it was other people presenting for me and everything. Went through all the credits, just playing with things, didn't really accomplish much. You guys were wonderful. You gave more credits. I'm scared. I want to create, because I know there's limits right now. You guys give them freely. Eventually, it's going to be limited of what you get. So you guys were talking about creating a video, a thank you video, and then sending it to the people. I realize that you can't send a lot of videos, or you can't make a lot of videos, so it's not one video for each. You just change them. Is there a script that I can use for like a thank you video where it's a general thank you video? And then I can also do one that's an ad, take a few pictures of myself and then have a few different videos. Is there
100%.
somewhere that I can do something like that?
Well, certainly. I mean, that's the way that I would do it, right? Like, let's say, for instance, if I'm selling pitch every single week, right? Or whether I'm selling new skin or Herbalife or whatever that product is, I make the same presentation. I'm trying to get the same results. So I can then create a library, anticipation of what did or didn't happen. Only a few things can happen at the end of a webinar, right? One, a person purchases. So I'm going to have a generic thank you and probably a call to action, whether that be onboard them in the thank you or a reminder, and here's the website where you log in for the first time, or a suggestion of an upsell that I can send to virtually every single person who purchases the product. I would then have one generic for someone who didn't purchase that would bring up the product that I probably lead with, and also my Calendly, because I said, if you're not ready to move forward, like I always make the joke, I say, I know, thank you, Dave, for coming to my webinar. I know it was 45 minutes long, and the last thing I want to do is ask you to watch me for another 45 minutes so you get to say no to me twice, right? Well, what I would love to do is if you give me 1 minute, I'm just going to make one more case to you about why I think this product is so compelling. And either you can decide to move forward right now, or let me also bring up my calendar because maybe you just want to talk about it with me. But either way, just thank you for giving me an opportunity to work with you, right? Again, under a minute, right? Generic to everyone. Third one is Dave Smith's a big hitter. He's a big guy, right? I'm willing to go to the moon to get Dave on board. I'm going to make him a customized one, most likely, in that sense. So I would always have my generics. And then I would, when I felt I got somebody really significant, I make the one-offs in that perspective. And then I go back to my library and they're there and it's easy to set up. And if I have it with a good CRM, you can trigger them and make them automatically. So what I'm going to do is, now that I'll have a little more time, is make, generic versions of that with the scripts in the background. So people will have a starting point, those ideas. So I also think the biggest thing we haven't really talked about is also compelling invites, right? I mean, or a few minutes before, it's like, Lori, I want you to know I sent you out an invite. You confirmed. I want to thank you so much. I just want you to know I'm really looking forward to seeing you, and if you want them to see something before they come to your meeting, or not, it doesn't matter. Just something to say, I know who you are. You're special to me. Now, again, I could have a generic one that goes out to everyone, but maybe Lori's one I really, really want. So I may do a one-off for her, right? And so in all honesty, the reason that we finished out the credit system, 2 months ago. I could have started charging people today, right? But I really want to make sure that I could deliver those videos at the cheapest price possible. And so I want to make sure I leave no stone unturned, because I don't want people to feel like, I want to do all this, but it's just too expensive. I'm saying, so that I rather give it away for free until I feel like I've exhausted every possibility to give it at the best price. And my goal is also to pay you guys commissions on it, right? If it's not at a great price, then I won't be able to pay commissions on it. So I want to I think it's a big enough product to try to appeal to all masters and do that. Because I do believe in the future that there'll be some people that'll say, I don't do webinars, but can I just buy the videos? I just do videos and send text and email. Just the videos in your CRM is enough of a product for me based on what I currently do in my business. So that's why I'm really have just been begrudgingly slow, right? And just, so you just maybe like, why do they keep giving credits for free? I don't understand, right? Because I just don't want to get anyone in a mindset, oh, I don't want to plan this long term because I just think it's going to be too expensive. And I don't know what expensive is to everyone else in the world. I just know what's expensive to me, and I try to build things that 1 million people can do, as opposed to the 5%ers who work in a marketing agency and because somebody else is paying the bills, they don't even care what it costs, And if you look at the HeyGens and the Synthesias out there, they're very expensive, on what they do. That's why most people don't use them.
So I know when you build the video, you can have certain times that the websites come up.
Sure.
But you mentioned your Calendly. So when we do the meetings here, it's interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Are the videos interactive?
The recorded videos are interactive, yes, after the meeting. Absolutely.
No, not this, but like the AI.
Yeah.
When you create the
Yeah,
AI.
but I'm sorry, like when I play the video in here, when I play that interactive 47-second video, it's not interactive in here because you're in a webinar, basically inside of a webinar. But if I send that to you as a text or an email, it's 100% interactive. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, no, without that, I lose my whole presentation. And you're gonna go, what? He said what? So, yeah, to me, like when you send a text for the first time and it comes with a thumbnail that they don't expect to see, it could be a thumbnail of them, it could be a picture of them, it could be a thumbnail of you. So they're going to open it, right? Because Dave, if you send it to somebody and the thumbnail is you versus a thumbnail of Pitch or a thumbnail of some third-party company, right? Pictures you, and underneath it says, because you could type it personally each time you send it out, hey Les, I want you to watch this. Call me right afterwards. I mean, it literally says that right on the thumbnails, right? So the open rate, which on text is high to begin with, is extremely high when you make it that personal. It doesn't probably get any higher. And then when they're watching the video, without you even explaining it, the website, I would immediately make that website turn the page really early on because I want them to go, what? Did I just see the website turn page? Is this a video? Right? It's like, so that my point is you can just wow someone with the technology where they don't even, the message is almost secondary, So that's where you have to be really clever in the script. What's your intention? What's your purpose, right? And so if you don't bring attention to the fact that they can touch the screen, they think it's a video, right? No one's told them that the screen is interactive. Why would you think it is, right? Even if it's turning pages, you wouldn't, unless you draw attention to it, right? So that's where really clever. So unfortunately today, Michael Hudson's not on, and we had a call with him earlier. And he's been doing a ton of videos and he's been doing them with great success. Like he's got this thing nailed down about booking appointments. And he said, the only reason I'm good now is because I was really bad in the beginning. I had to go through my bad to get to the good, right? And he's going to come on, he's going to share his data. But he said that his number one open rate on these videos, because he had his own statistic through his own CRM where you can see how long the people watch the videos. And surprisingly, right, he said 15 seconds to people he didn't know. And this is a big deal. People can take data and apply it to the wrong person I'm talking to, right? But to somebody that's a complete cold text or email that he would send out, he said the average person is 15 seconds that they'll watch it. Even regardless if the minute is a video, a minute and a half, they watch it for 15 seconds and they go. Now, are there a lot of people that watched it for 30 seconds or the minute? Sure there are, out of those numbers. But I think that's critical data, right? In the sense of helping us. Now, did the number move if he knew the person? And did it move if it was a second contact, right? Again, so if you work somebody and you prep somebody, they'll watch a 7.5 minute video if you make a compelling argument, right? But that's what I always say to you is it's a different avatar script and a different experience from a person you know, from a person you don't know. And when you say it's a person you know, define what you mean by know. Is a LinkedIn friend someone you know? Is a Facebook friend someone you know that they're going to give you that trust to go watch that? If you post it on social media, it's a different experience, right, than it is. So there's just a lot of factors. But I can tell you the one thing that I've stressed from day one that I is 100% true is less is more. You know, no matter how creative you are, no matter how, like, again, when I do the Tuesday night videos that are 3 or 4 minutes long, different audience. It's more like a training video, right? It's an entertainment. It's a show, right? If I was going to try to do something on social media, I would do something that would be 30 seconds or less, without no doubt about it. And in their minds, it would create the same effect. And the good part about when it's that short, you don't have to be as creative. Less text, less script, right? Less credits, right? Eventually, you know, in that perspective, right? So, okay. Anyone else have question or thought? Go ahead, Les.
In reference to this CRM, so right now, if a person's going to set up, whatever, they have to find another CRM to do it. Is
Right.
to be sending it out and then following up.
Yeah.
Number
So
one.
we're gonna offer that best of both worlds sweet spot where if you don't have a CRM, you can use ours. You know, if you do have one, we'll build it where you can API it. You know, a fancy way of just saying we'll connect it to it real easy. So if you've got 15,000 names in your Go High level and it took you 6 months to figure out how to use it, the last thing you want to do, you know, necessarily is change CRMs, right? So we'll make it a kind of seamless perspective wherever we can. But ours will be, it's like if I sent you to salesforce.com, you wouldn't know how to use it. I don't care how good you
Right.
are. You know, even HubSpot, which is supposedly built for the masses, is really complicated. It's really hard to figure out the simple stuff. We're like we did with their avatars. We're going to build a simple version. We're not trying to take on the world. We're not trying to sell CRMs as a separate product and compete in the CRM world. It's just to help people have better
Right.
interactive experience and track it.
And the second question, as far as, do you have any idea the cost of these credits?
No, that's where I've held back, you know, because once I throw a number out there, if I threw out a number out there today and said, you know, hopefully I'll reduce it by 50% in a month or two, you're going to never hear, you're just going to care about what you're paying today. Right. So that's why I virtually have decided to give it away for free until I come out with the number that I feel is the best number that we can do. And I want to exhaust every, I mean, our guys are going crazy with testing all these different ways of trying to render it cost, because it is an expensive process. It's a hard cost. The reason, if you go to Texas, that they've replaced, you know, all the farms with data fields, you see reflecting mirrors instead of farms, you know, is because there's this tremendous demand, you know, because of AI for people to use data. And so,
Yep.
so we got to figure out smart ways to do things, you know. We're trying.
And when, do you know when the CRM is going to be available?
Again, I think it'll just be a few weeks, you know, because let me just say this, you know, and I've learned this lesson, and sometimes I shouldn't say what I say. It could take you a couple of weeks to build it, right? And you think you built it great, right? And then you test it, and you find out you didn't build it so great. so it's hard for me to answer, right? Sometimes until the testing, and then sometimes you test it, and then I show it to Ray, and Ray goes, "Well, it doesn't have this feature," and you don't want to launch it without that feature. So I always say it's kind of a little bit careful to give a definitive date. But if everything goes according to plan, I guess say it that way, it should be a few weeks.
And only one of those.
What's that?
Somebody else.
Oh, go ahead, Les.
As far as changing this top bar, that's only available in one, not two, right? The color of
No, well, here, in the upper right-hand corner, there's dark mode and light mode.
that's
So
only available on one of them.
no, that's on two. I'm on two. I don't remember what's available in one. I haven't been in one, since
It's only on
the,
two.
okay. Yeah. And again, pretty
'Cause I
soon there's
used
only,
them this-
pretty
Yeah.
soon there's only going to be two. So, as we finish off the moving over of a couple of features left. Okay.
Okay.
By the way,
All right.
Cheryl, I just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
Just want you to know, I saw you in the corner of my eye. I just want to say hello.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else have anything else before we call it a day? Okay.
Back to the CRMs, is that part of our package or is there additional price or?
It'll be like
how-
everything else. It'll be in every package, but there'll be certain features that you'll pay addition for. If you want, because like for instance, if you want to send SMS and text, there's a cost to do that. Like Twilio, right? So that's what I meant. Is there's certain things that if you want to do in our platform, like to send emails are free, to send texts or not, right? So I'm saying there's certain things within there that will have additional cost only if you want to use it. It's entirely up to you.
I've
there'll
never
be
used a CRM, so I'm
Yeah,
not even sure.
yeah,
I've seen
don't
some
worry about it.
demos, but
I'm saying
Okay.
it's just a fancy way of saying to someone is you want to send out emails and texts and you want to track it, in a simple way. And so if you're not sending out things in large numbers of time, it's not something you necessarily have to learn or do. If you're doing the business, one-to-one referrals, it's one of those, it's a nice to have, not a have to have.
If you need a test dummy on Go High Level, I use Go High Level on a very extensive level, so I can be your test dummy.
So again, we don't do anything with Go High Level. We would just literally allow other people who are currently using Go High Level to use that. We considered using Go High Level, to be perfectly honest. In the beginning, we set up a sandbox and a test server, and I just didn't feel it was forward thinking. I thought it was simple. It was certainly simple to use for relatively speaking, but it didn't have the value add for a next generation company. I think there's certain things they do that are next generation. I think they do some things really well, but I didn't want to necessarily attach my hips, so we just went out and approached it from scratch. Okay, do that. And so, but again, all these companies, Go High Level, Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoom, HeyGen, Synthese, all these companies I mentioned, they're great companies. I don't mean to be dismissive of them, but I think technology is about how you use it, not how necessarily how good the technology is. I think no one does a better job than us about understanding how the technology needs to be used. I think that's where we're better. They have more money, deeper pockets, bigger resources, but they don't have I don't think they have a vision. I don't think they don't come from a sales and marketing background. They come from a technology background. And I think that's always been the gap in those type of companies in that perspective. I rather have a sales and marketing hat on, because without sales, without customer acquisition, what do you need the technology for? I always come from the other side and work my way backwards from that. Right? Okay. All right. Hey, Jordan, good to see you. But I know you jumped on. Thanks. All right. So let me say, I know this is Thursday, right? And then we don't get back together again until Monday. So once again, on Thursdays, I'd like to remind you that if you need me between Thursday, and I say me, meaning the company or somebody else to reach out, whether it's a technical question, if you have a question like, I don't know how to use this AI thing, feel free to text me and I'll either get back to you if I can, or I'll have somebody else get back to you. And my phone number is 954-683-7755. I don't even answer if my mother calls, so text is better. I'm saying I just kind of read it, get back to you. So don't be insulted in that sense. And then
Say
my
your name.
email. Yeah, exactly.
when you
And
text
then my,
them, tell them who
yeah,
you are.
right. Exactly. Great example, Terry, right? You texted me. I responded right away, even though I didn't know who you
Who are
were
you?
because you weren't in my contact list. And I just said, like, who are you? Do I owe you any money? Just tell me. I always want to know. Okay. And then,
The bill collector.
exactly. And then my email is, which I don't check as often, but I do check it. Or at least there's people in my office that check my emails for me. So if you send something that's important, they'll bring it to my attention. And that's at steve@mypitch.com, mypxch.com. But I don't want you to feel like, between Thursday and Monday is a long time. So
Now, are you going to send me that information, that form for getting on Tuesday? Would I be able to get on this Tuesday's call?
yeah, absolutely. I'll make sure, and I'll make sure Pamela does that today. Thank you. If you actually didn't say it, I would have already forgotten. So now, so you want me to hang up now, just so I remember to do it. Okay. And Lori, once again, I'm just so glad because I didn't, there's certain times that people have issues and I'm thinking to myself, we don't got that one. I don't see the forest through the trees. I'm solving that one. I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know what her problem is. I've never seen it before. My team is good, but I don't know if we could do that one. So I'm so glad we were able to fix that one for you.
Yeah, kudos to you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. Appreciate you.
All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Okay. All right.